Good morning. This is Bobby Dupre with the Bobby Dupre Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And of course, many of you are watching it on your televisions, others are watching it on your computers or any other internet device that you may use to receive the Bobby Dupre Show worldwide. That's around the world, right?
Worldwide.
That's around the world.
Popcorn here.
We used to have a little, but we...
Well, hold on, I'll get your globe.
No, I'm just joking. Anyhow, this is my sidekick here, Matt LeBlanc. And
there's your globe.
There's the globe, round
Worldwide.
the world, worldwide. And we like to have fun, and we want you to enjoy it and have fun also. And I have a couple of little pictures that I'll show you and talk about the young people and some of the older people that watch the program. It never ceases to amaze me, the variety of ages, varieties of places where I'd have no idea that they'd be watching the Bobby Dupre Show. In fact, when we're going to talk about the groundbreaking at Holy Ghost Catholic Church, remind me to make sure I speak about the contractor.
Okay.
When we get to that point. Sometimes I go to forget. One thing I don't want to forget is to wish a very happy birthday. And of course, the birthday is actually today, Wednesday. We tape on Wednesdays. We try to slip that in one time just to let you know we're not trying to fool you or anything. And if you'd happen to call us to put something on the program at the last minute, we'll have to get it the next week if it's not something that has to be done immediately. So we like to make sure that we're not putting you off, we're not picking who we're going to talk about and when we're going to talk about them. But Mr. Jim Bervin, Mr. Bervin is from South Dakota, and just one of our best friends. And when I say our, I'm speaking of Joe Fred and myself and others in Opelousas who've had the opportunity to meet this gentleman. And some of us were even fortunate enough to meet his wife, Miss Ortiz, and his daughter and husband, and rode out to the farm operation in South Dakota when 2 years ago, it's going on 3 years now, when my brother John died. Luckily, Ramp had ridden with me. We had gone to the College World Series in Omaha, and we left the motorhome and went in the little pull car and visited Mr. Jim and Mr. Bill and their offices, and went out to the country to watch his son-in-law Ron and his farm operation that he has over there. And Mr. Jim, like Attaway Dawborn used to say, his therapy is driving those big tractors. And he says that just relaxes him.
Sure.
Kind of like when you ride your motorcycle, I ride my motorcycle, we get that same kind of feeling for a few moments. We're cautious about what's around us. I don't want you to believe that. But the little things that stick with you and pop up in your mind every once in a while, I should have done this, or I wanted to call so-and-so and wish him a happy birthday, and
gives you time to
do it. But you just think, and you're just relaxing. Nothing is pressing at that moment. And anyhow, that's what Mr. Jim says he likes to do. I hope he has had a wonderful birthday, and hope that he and Miss Ortiz can be down in Opelousas real soon to visit the Evangeline Downs. He was one of the builders. He and Mr. Bill were partners at the time. Mr. Jim has I don't know if he sold his stock or not, but he has resigned from active duty.
Right.
He had to retire. He was having some little issues, health issues, and the doctor said you need to calm it down and relax. And but he was there for literally every nail that was nailed in the building. He was there from the ground all the way to the top, and he was also instrumental. The customers always have a couple of good things to say. They like the facility. They love the bed. And he chose those bed mattresses that are used in the hotel. So anyhow.
And that's what a lot of people talk about. those mattresses.
It's mattress. Well, I mean, that's what you go to a hotel for, is relax.
Sure.
You might have traveled all around the community and went to Grand Coteau, went to Lafayette, went to Mamu at Fred's on a Saturday. But when you get to that room, you're looking for a good bed.
Yeah, sure.
And
sure.
Evangeline Downs Hotel has those good beds. So anybody that has friends or relatives or class reunions or family reunions, whatever the case, weddings, recommend your out-of-town guests to stay at Evangeline Downs, and I think they're going to remember it. And it's
Sure.
connected to the Evangeline Downs casino and racetrack. So there's a lot of activity going on besides that, with restaurants open 24 hours a day. And if you want to play the little machine, that's good. If you want to have a few drinks, that's good, because you don't have to get back in your car. You own location. So
Sure.
anyhow,
Sure.
Mr. Jim, we're thinking about you. We love you.
There you go. And you mentioned earlier, you're surprised at how people recognize you all over the place and how the different variety of people that actually watch the show. You got a Facebook message the other day from Renee Marie Miller. She says, Mr. Bobby, we took some pics with you at the store, me, my mom, and my daughter. And
Yep.
Lauren was so excited. That was the little daughter you told me about that you ran into. She said she forgot to mention her daddy, Kenneth, to you. Kenneth Bro Jr. That's her daddy. And you have your note right there. So
Yep. Got the note right here.
planning on putting you in anyways. And but the thing about Kenneth works for Mr. Ted Bellard, and
Okay.
we talk about with Bellard.
So why don't we do that, and then
Sure.
we'll come back and finish this up. Lauren is a third grader at Park Vista Elementary, or she will be a third grader, I guess. So that would make her about that age I said, about a 10-year-old student. And sweetest little thing, I mean, she was tickled to death when she saw me. She said, Mama, that's Mr. Bobby over there. And so they called me over, and, you know, that makes you want to continue on. You know, I've been talking lately about kind of retiring the end of the year. I've discussed that quietly with you. And I've talked to others, and they can understand after
Sure.
40 years of trying to do a decent show that people will watch, and it'll be all the young kids can watch it. There's no devilment on it, and there's no criticizing of anybody or you know, any particular place or business or anything. We leave those things for the other people on whatever means they get to them, Facebook or
Sure.
television or newspapers, whatever. Anyhow, you need to get
Well,
a
yeah,
couple
we're,
of sponsors.
we're talking about Renee and her husband Kenneth, and Kenneth works over at Targill Seasoning, Butcher Supplies, Cutlery, and Kitchen Supplies. They're located on Wartell Avenue in Opelousas. If you're looking for any good line kitchen supplies that you need, like I said, this is the place where the chefs go and get your knives, you can get your baking supplies. You can
Knives
get-
are so important.
Knives
you
are
know.
very important.
Very important.
If you don't have a sharp knife, you need to get one.
And I'm sure they have the good sharpeners that they can recommend to go with that good knife. One without the other
Absolutely.
is still kind of weak.
Absolutely.
But if you have them both, then you really can carve in that.
Also, don't forget, Targill's main thing is their seasoning. You know, they can package and put together any type of seasoning recipe for you. Get it together in a nice package, and you can have your own brand of seasoning that you can market on your own. I know several businesses and people that have done that. Also, we want to talk about the Medicine Shop Pharmacy. Our good friends over in Opelousas at the Medicine Shop Pharmacy. That's Mr. Dirk Andrepont. He wanted me to ask you, do you make several trips to the pharmacy each month for your prescriptions? Or do you sometimes forget to fill your medications on time? Or are you taking care of somebody and need help keeping track of their prescriptions? Well, wouldn't it be convenient to pick up all your medications once a month? A Medicine Shop can do that for you. It's a free service called Simplify My Meds, and you usually have the same copay as any other pharmacy in Opelousas. Try it, you'll like it. They deliver in Opelousas area, and they can ship meds almost anywhere. So
good service.
absolutely, absolutely. So go check them out over at the Medicine Shop. Tell Mr. Dirk Entrepont we said hi. They're located at 1717 South Union Street, Opelousas, right next to Junior Schneider, Allstate Insurance, and Chase Bank, kind of right in that area right there. Give them a call, 948-9975.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. All right, I got one more I want to bring up right here. Let's talk about our good friend Joey Quibido and Kevin Doucette over at Piggly Wiggly in Opelousas. And right now, of course, Memorial Day's just passed, but Piggly Wiggly is always on the cutting edge of specials. And you can go to their website, and it's gotothepig.com. They've got 2 locations in Opelousas right now, and 1 location in Simsport. But if you go to gotothepig.com, you can check out their weekly ads, and it breaks it down into their different stores. You can get, right now, Prairie Fresh boneless pork chops, $1.88 a pound. Chicken thighs or drumsticks frozen for 88 cents a pound. Fresh pork tenderloin, $2.78 a pound. And shrimp, everybody loves shrimp, $5.98 for 16 to 20 count shrimp. That's good big shrimp.
Good example that you've pulled that up
right on the computer.
On the computer. So anybody out there listening that's computer literate, you're not like me. I haven't turned a computer on yet, but I plan to someday.
You use them more than you think.
Well, I use the little one. You call
it's
that,
the same thing.
But it's not the same.
Well,
it doesn't have that mouse and all that running all over. Anyhow, this is what the newspapers will deliver to you, and then of course,
yep, then
what
you
he
can get
was
it on your computer.
Get it on your computer.
GoToThePig.com. That's where you got to go to see it on a computer. But you can also get it in your mailbox. But go see them in Opelousas, 2 locations, and 1 in Simsport. All the grocery specials you can ever ask for.
Okay, now what about our time? Are we just about time for our
we'll
first quarterly
I think
break?
we're pretty close to that. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we can go ahead and take a break right now, and we'll come back. We got a couple of pictures and a couple more stories for you.
Yep. Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, along with my sidekick here. Forgot you won't get paid for the first quarter.
You owe me double next week.
Okay, double next week. Double aught. That kind of reminds me of that double aught
buckshot.
Buckshot, right. But anyhow, we do want to welcome you back, and we'll come on with. We'll start off with our sponsors.
Sure.
We try to bring our sponsors some good messages, and we hope that you, the viewers, consider using the services that are sold or you can use at our various sponsors. Good local people, been in business, reputable, and their prices will always be competitive.
Absolutely. And we're very selective about who's a sponsor on the show also. LHC Group, it's all about helping people. And once you know LHC Group, they deliver a higher standard of care. They're dedicated to improving the lives of patients, whether you or someone you love is recovering from an illness at home, requiring special treatment at one of the long-term acute care facilities, or is in need of hospice care at end of life. You can count on their attentive and compassionate professionals to deliver high-quality care. Network of agencies throughout the United States. Patients can seamlessly transition from one care setting to another. The LHC Group, you talk about small, local, but also born right here, but all over the United States.
Can you imagine?
Huge company and a wonderful
Started out
company.
drinking a cup of coffee on a Saturday morning in Palmetto, Louisiana.
That is correct.
I like to point that out so that young people and older people can set their aims wherever they feel that the height they want to go into, whatever field they choose to make their living in. The world is wide open for you.
That is correct. But in the meantime, if you're hungry, go run over to Steamboat Warehouse. And you can hear, I don't know if you can hear this, but we got a storm going on outside right now. It is pouring. It's like flash floods all over the place. Wait till the rain stops. It should be gone by this evening, I think, huh? Go see them over at Steamboat, and Steamboat located in Washington, and visit Jason Huguet over there and check out a wonderful, absolute wonderful restaurant. If you haven't been to Steamboat Warehouse Restaurant, you need to go. You owe it to yourself to go. Wonderful menu, but it's the setting. It's the place.
The
it's
ambiance.
a beautiful building. The ambiance. That's a good word for it. It's set on Bayou Catawba, and it's
Historic
Bayou Catawba,
Bayou.
and it's where the steamboats used to actually turn around.
Right
there.
Yep.
So it's got so much history to it. It's a beautiful place. The food is wonderful, and it's a legend.
You
it
know,
really is.
there are a number of residents in and around Washington that say that they're actually the third oldest city, not Opelousas.
Oh, well, Natchitoches, Opelousas, and Washington kind of have this little battle going between them as to who's the oldest.
Well, Natchitoches is kind of given that one, apparently, pretty much.
Gave it back to Opelousas?
No, they've always had. Natchitoches was the first, and then
first
second
settlement.
First, whatever.
Yeah.
And then New Orleans was next. Then Opelousas is shown as number 3. But the people in Washington claim that this settlement with the steamboat and all was prior to Opelousas. Now, I don't know how because we claim our origin to be 1720.
Yeah.
And they claim the same thing. So we don't want to have any wars over it or anything, any reenactment of
right.
that takes place every year for fun. We don't want it to turn into a rivalry. But anyhow, that's just a little something that under the water is like the ducks paddling.
That's right. That's right.
Water. You don't see
but
it's
they're
happening.
moving.
They're kind of moving.
Nonetheless, ton of history in both places.
On the death side, Miss Jeanne de Valcourt-Robin, age 94, passed, and I missed the whole thing for some reason. Funeral services were held on Friday, May the 22nd. That was last Friday at La Font-Ordwin Funeral Chapel. And she is survived by her husband, Ames Robin, Jr., and one son, Elmo Sonny de Valcourt, and his wife, Jean, another Jean, and a daughter, Susan Marie de Valcourt. And she, of course, was preceded in death by her first husband, Elmo, better known as Momo de Valcourt. I knew him back in the day, and of course I know Ames also very well. And she also was preceded in death by one brother, and I had kind of forgot this, T.P. Bertrand Jr. from Lawtell, and one sister, Miss Lorraine Cormier Bergeron. And I remember they lived, Miss Lorraine and her family lived next door to Adelaide's house on South Market Street. So knew this lady very well way back in the day. Our sympathies, and then of course we have a person who died well known in the Lafayette, I guess you could say Karen Crow area, and I'm speaking of Mr. Jean Bergeaux. Bergeaux. Well, you have it on TV.
Yeah,
all right, there you go. We took a picture of the article in the newspaper. Comes out pretty good.
Yeah.
And I've had a few people that has thanked me for doing this. It
Picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yep, and it shows. Well, yeah, I knew that man. Dad, we used to go to church together. We used to shop at about the same time of the month, and you know, whatever the story is, went to church together. And his daddy, he was born in October the 10th, 1936. So he was almost a year older than me. To Mr. Frozan Bergeaux, but when you read it in English,
it's frozen.
It's frozen.
Yeah.
And Ophelia Benoit Bergeaux, but he never got to know his mother due to her untimely death 3 months later in January of 37. That's when I was born, 37. And he was a graduate of Karen Crow High School in 54, and he was part of the FFA, the boxing team, and that's where I really got to know him was through boxing, and we both care about the sport. and he was one of the awardees of the Hall of Fame. He was a recipient in the 2013 or 2014
I was
group.
there. I remember that.
You filmed all of that for us.
Maybe that's where I recognize him from.
Then he went into the service. He was offered a scholarship to play football, but chose to go into the military and join the Navy, and was part of the naval boxing and softball teams, including being a naval boxing champion. So
wow.
this man, wherever he was, he stood out in the group, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And that's how he stood out in the group, in the community. He was well respected, a successful businessman. And also in 1961, he was Louisiana Golden Gloves state champion. Right there, the bouts took place in Blackham Coliseum, which is still in existence, of course. And so a person that had a full life. And in fact, for the Golden Glove tournament this year, I'd say he was in attendance and watched every bout that took place, from the little bitty lightweights all the way to the heavyweights in a 3-day span. So even though he had been diagnosed with cancer, he was still fighting it and doing all that he possibly could. What a man. I was able to go to the David Funeral Home in Youngsville and visited with one of the sons I was able to visit with, and his wife, Miss Mary Ann, our deepest sympathies to a longtime friend. And I also explained to Mrs. Bergeau, Miss Mary Ann, that Don Stemmons wouldn't be able to attend yesterday because he had surgery on Monday, knee replacement. So Don, hopefully you back home, and Sunday you'll be watching this program at 3 o'clock like so many others of you do. And Miss Eileen Truxilla Rogers, that was, I knew her as the wife of Mr. Lonnie Rogers. Mr. Lonnie was the Troop K commander for quite a number of years, and they made their home right in Opelousas. Mr. Elridge Cunningham Jr., he was age 67. His father was Mr. Elridge Sr. and Miss Gladys Cunningham. Miss Gladys served on the school board, well-known person, and has a sister, of course, Anna Simmons Rubin of Opelousas. So
we know who that is.
Yep.
Former mayor?
Oh, yeah, she's quite a character. Our deepest sympathies. I can't say that I knew Mr. Elridge, but hopefully I met him somewhere along the line. And one other one is Mr. Orel. Some people called him Orel, some people called him Joe. His real name was Oriel Joseph Anderson. And I knew his dad, Mr. Minus Anderson, and of course I knew his son, Horace Anderson. He was our shoeshine man for years at Whips, and then he went offshore and retired offshore, and now he does some, I guess it's part-time security work at Evangeline Downs. So I get to see him. My deepest sympathies to the Anderson family. And right here in our own little community, there was the Dockside recording studio. You must be familiar with them. Did you ever record there?
No, I haven't done any recording. We have our own recording studio we do stuff in.
Oh, y'all pass up those little people. Just joking.
No, but I'm very familiar with Dockside. I've had a lot of friends that worked there in the past.
Looks like they must have a very unique facility there when you get B.B. King to come and record. I think on 3 occasions he came there and made a visit of it, and became close friends with this couple. And the couple is Steve and Suzanne Wish Nails. That last name, Suzanne Nails. And that's a good picture. Look at him. He's not wanting to be up in the chair or anything like that. BB is sitting down. Stephen is bound to a wheelchair, or was that
I don't know
just
Stephen.
temporary? You don't know him?
No, I don't know, but it looks like he is.
It appears to be that he is. But right there in what, Maurice is what they claim it. And so he came there, and according to B.B. King himself, that was one of his very favorite places that he ever recorded in his lifetime.
B.B. had a lot of ties to the area. He had a good friend that was B.B.'s lighting director for years.
Really?
Yeah, right here from Lafayette.
It's amazing just all the success stories that come from right in this area. I don't care what field it is. It can be something in the oil industry. It can be something in education. Your daughter might someday be a professor known throughout the world. You know, we don't know what the future. The future is a lot of what you want it to be.
That's right.
What you set your goals to achieve.
And we got a lot of talent in the area.
And B.B. King, and it's sad, they're fighting over his estate right now. Big thing. They're accusing the person that was in charge of his day-to-day carrying of his affairs, apparently, and his life, that he was poisoned by these people, by his
Anytime you involve money in it, it's going to get ugly.
Money just gets kind of ugly, and we don't talk about those kind of things.
That's right.
But it's something to mention, though, because here's a man that, you know, had a good life. Look, you know, like so many of us, he had so many good things, and then all you're going to hear now is the bad.
Right.
Bad.
Right.
Want his money. It's all about that almighty dollar. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, you asked me how my horse did last week.
Yeah.
While I was out at Opelousas High school graduation, I had a horse that ran, and Spirit of a Cat, and Spirit of a Cat came out second. I wish he could have won that night, because even though I wouldn't have been there, the breeder of Spirit of a Cat, Mr. Jim Demmel, was there along with my good friend Bobby Duhon. And well, second wasn't bad. I think Jim was happy with the little colt.
Well, second's not bad at all.
No, it's better than third.
That's right.
Not quite as good as first.
Not quite as good as first.
But that made this little horse has earned about $30,000. So that's not too bad.
Well, no, that's not bad at all.
Not too bad.
As long as you didn't pay $40,000 for him, you're doing okay.
No, I paid $4,000 for him.
Then I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're holding our own on that particular one. Roots Chris fans celebrate 50 years at a cemetery.
I've been waiting for you to read this one, because the headline has me.
Well, you know, in New Orleans, and I guess a lot of other places, but in New Orleans, the burial, the
funeral process, it's celebrated.
It's celebrated.
Right.
And Miss Ruth Fertel, who was the owner and the beginner of Roots Chris Steakhouse, who died in 2002. 2000? Yeah, I think so. Anyhow,
she was 75 when she died.
When she died. They have sold it to a big conglomerate, and it's grown into 146 Roots Chris locations worldwide.
I didn't know they had that many of them.
And of course, I have a little handwritten note here, May 28th. Wonder if Pat and Alice Morrow attended this birthday party at this cemetery, because Pat and Alice are investors in several Roots Chris locations.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you sell. I don't know if they still own them. I haven't talked to him lately about it, but I think I overheard him say possibly have one in Hawaii and maybe one or two in California. I think I overheard that, but I know he was one of the owners from years ago, not 50 years ago, but years ago. And I remember going to the first Roots Chris on Broad Street, and I remember the man who treated me to that, Mr. Leon Terrio from Golden Meadow, Louisiana. I don't know, he wasn't a lot older than me, but he was older than me. very successful. He had one or two big clients, and it was all field related. These boats, one of the big companies, and I can't think of the name of the company right now that he insured, but he went to London, to the marketplace in London, and personally placed their insurance coverages. Wow. He was ahead of his time. He was a surplus lines broker, and anyhow, he took me under his wing and took me out a few different nights to different places that a boy from Plaisance hadn't experienced yet. And one of them was Chris Steakhouse. So that was years ago. That was probably in about 73 to 75, I'd say. And I remember getting in touch with his wife when he died. I read about his obituary in the Morning Advocate, Mr. Leon Terrio, Golden Medal. That was my connection to. We have break time?
Yeah, it's break time.
Cool. We got a lot of material to talk about.
That's right. We got 25 minutes left in the show to do it. So
Good.
Let's take a break now, and we will be back in 1 minute.
Welcome back to the third quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show. We try to do it in roughly 15-minute segments. We off a little bit. We didn't run quite the time in the first quarter, and then we overran the second quarter, so now we got to kind of split it up again, about 12 and a half minutes per segment. So let's settle down and let Matt give you a couple of our good sponsors that make all of this available to you free at your home or wherever you might be around the world.
That is correct. Let's talk about Carl's Thrifty-Way, located in Opelousas on 2961 South Union Street, right next to our old building, not very far from it, next door to Prather Pediatric. And with Carl's Thrifty-Way, I'm going to need to go see him pretty soon. I feel a little bit of sinus coming on right here. So I got that nice little Sudafed stuff I get over there. It helps me kind of clear out. But Carl's Thrifty-Way for all your pharmaceutical needs. They do compounding there, but also not just a pharmacy. There's a gift shop there that you can find gifts for any occasion. Graduation's just passed.
A lot of beautiful clothing right now.
Great,
nice little
beautiful
outfits
clothing
for the spring and summer months.
I'll tell you what, the jewelry and the candle selection and the purses and the footwear and the wall decor. Great, great, great. So go see them over at Carl's Thrifty-Way and visit the gift shop. You will not be disappointed. And let's talk about our good friends over at Dixie Storage, locations in Port Barre, Opelousas, and Washington. Altogether, over 1 million square feet of storage. That's a lot of storage. Yep. So they've got storage on both sides of the highway in Port Barre, on both sides 190 there. And they've also got commercial scales for one of the only certified scales in the area. The other one is at Quarters Casino, but we'll talk about them in the next segment. And little small storage, large storage, big storage, commercial storage, rail spur access, everything you could possibly need at Dixie Storage. So visit them online at dixiestorage.com. And I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, and we have a sunset, I think.
Pictures? Okay.
Yeah,
you know, you like your sunsets. There you go. That's pretty.
And did Vicky send me that? Somebody
you know,
sent that
I'm
to
not
me.
sure.
Not sure, but beautiful picture. I think that was sent to me.
I think Vicky sent that one to you.
Okay, and what? Let's see if we have another picture.
I think you recognize this guy.
Okay, that's Lieutenant Clay Higgins with the St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office, and he does the announcements for the Sheriff's Office.
The Crime Stoppers.
And then also does the St. Landry Crime Stoppers program. And he is really getting a name and really getting a fan base watching his program.
Getting some recognition.
Recognition around the world, it looks like.
Yep.
And he has that special delivery.
It's unique.
Very stern. And very to the point, you could say, and tells these violators of the law, if it's a break-in in a grocery store or somebody's home, you better fess up and come and turn yourself in and bring your goods that you stole, and we need to talk, young man. And he's to the point, and it's very, very catchy. And anyhow, actually shook his hand at the Bi-State Fishing Rodeo.
Okay.
He came and had dinner with us as well as Shane, who does the IT for the sheriff's office and other departments of parish government. I'm not sure what Shane's last name is, but shook his hand. He also came and ate supper with us, one of the suppers we had while we were there.
Sure.
Okay, let's move
this
on.
right here now.
And this picture here, when this lady saw me, well, I had it.
You just had it.
Oh, right here, right here. The lady in the blue walks up to me and she says, "I know you don't know me, Mr. Bobby, but you worked with my daddy. My daddy was Ezekiel Brown." I said, "Whoa, Lordy, that goes back to mud supply days." I'm always talking about mud supply days on Railroad Avenue. And she said, "Yes, Daddy talked about you a whole lot." And I said, "Well, it was a real hard job. It was a dirty job, but we made some time in each day to have a little time together, and we visited, because we might leave in an old heavy-duty truck in Opelousas on Railroad Avenue and go down to south of Crowley. Well, that was about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive.
Sure.
With these trucks loaded down when we left the yard. And so we got to visit and all that. A lot of times we'd pass by Mom and Daddy's little cafe, the school cafe. Mama would fix us a big brown paper bag of hamburgers and Jack's cookies and Aura Cia Cola. And fond memories of some hard days, but it also was telling me in the back of my mind, boy, you better get that college education so you don't have to do this kind of work all your life.
Yep.
And you mentioned Junior Snyder. His daddy worked with Mud Supply Company.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Ernst Snyder was his daddy's name, and I think Junior, well, Junior Snyder, that's his name, Ernst, named after his daddy. His daddy and I worked
I didn't
together.
know that.
Same, yeah, I told him that a while back. I was able to visit with him shortly and did that. And of course, the other two people in the picture is Miss Hester's daughter and grandson. And these pictures took place in Sonia's Donuts on the service road on I-49.
Good place for them to take place.
Right near Stage.
And then let's see, we're at Evangeline Downs here, it looks like.
Yes, and that's Miss Laura Petrie. She has a breeding farm operation, does very well in Plaisance, Louisiana.
Yeah.
In fact, she lives right, the sign that says Plaisance is probably on the highway across the street from her farm operation. Does a very good job, I might add. And then a friend of hers, I didn't catch the name, but she says, "Yeah, you taking my picture too?"
Yeah, sure.
And there was another lady that says,
it.
"Don't take mine." I said, "Well, we don't take them if you don't want it." But anyhow, and then this is Sonia's pictures of that same day when I met Miss Brown. And on the right is Sonia, her husband Jonathan next, and then 3 young girls, and I think all 3 of them are in some stage of attending college. And they get up, these young workers right here, they're at work at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Donuts, they actually start, Jonathan starts off around 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's, they close at 2, but they've already put in 12 hours of work.
That's a bit.
Okay, let's move on.
I've been seeing these popping up.
Yep, that's the new signal lights. That was the first one I had seen, and that in the background is the Delta Grand Theater. Well, it used to be a theater. Now it's all-purpose activity center.
And I see you were getting all ready and getting spiffed up. Let's see, let me pull this one up right up here next. There you go.
Yep, that's would be
There you go.
Friday night.
Look at that.
Friday night in front of my house, I had limousine service. No, not limousine.
There's
Pick 'em up truck service. My good friend Harvey Darbone passed and picked me up. We were going to the Opelousas Senior High graduation, and it's so hard to park around there that we went in one vehicle rather than taking 2 spots.
There's a picture of graduation.
And I know this little lady won't be upset, but you know, she had been walking. I mean, she had been walking. She took her shoes off. I was sitting in the back of them, and I just thought that was cute.
Oh, I tell you what, that my girls at home, that's the first thing they do. If they can take their shoes off, they do. We get in the car just to go next door. The shoes come off, and I got to wait for them to put the shoes back on to get down. Oh, boy. That's at OHS right there, too.
We didn't take a picture of her. She took a picture of us a while ago. I saw her. I saw you taking a picture of us. You stood over there. But tell us a little bit about your daughter.
Oh, well, I got my daughter helping me here today. She's going to spend the day with me and do the Swamp and Roll show with me tonight and kind of hang out here today. She's out of school now. She graduated, so she's got nothing else to do. She wanted to come hang out with me today.
We didn't take too many, yeah, and we welcome you. And I gave her a little pep talk when you weren't around.
Well, I'm sure you did.
Trying to fire her up of all the good that's out there. And I told her a little bit about Megan's success so far, and her second year of law school finished up, and just setting the world on fire as far as I'm concerned. I'm very happy with her achievements that she's achieving, and it's not daddy or it's not mama. This is her achievement that she's earning. If it was around here, they'd say, well, Bobby's pulled a string. You know how people are kind of jealous. I call it jealous.
She's done it on her own.
Doing it on her own, and we're proud of you. And this lady in the red, I met her at one of the coaches associations. The Louisiana High School Coaches Associations have an annual meeting in Baton Rouge, and I met her with Warren. She works alongside with Warren Rabb, and Warren Rabb's daughter was not here tonight, but Ms. Gerard. Thanks for coming up to me and reminding me. When she said her name, I said, Warren Rabb. Warren Rabb was the quarterback of the 1958 championship. When LSU won that championship, national championship, Warren Rabb was the quarterback. Fine fella, still working.
I wouldn't know that.
He's just like Bobby Dupre. He's still out there working.
Speaking of LSU winning a championship, you got a couple of pictures here, the Lady Tigers.
Yeah, and if that doesn't look like my daughter,
sure does.
Kelly Marie Dupre. Kelly, I hope you see this picture. And there was some other shots of it that even right there.
Oh, that looks like Kelly.
Yeah, when Kelly was just a few years, about this girl's age, I'll tell you what, sisters. And got a good smile, like Kelly always has a good smile. And she's a pitcher, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
And a good one, yep.
So good.
In fact, she was called back in to save the game. She had pitched and won the game before, and they finally had got to the other little pitcher for LSU, and they brought this young lady back in.
So they played Auburn?
Yes.
And they won that game?
And they won that game.
Well, good.
And now they're going to the next level, next regional game.
Well, that's good. I'll tell you what, we've got about 14 minutes left here, so we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will finish up the program. Got a couple more picks to show you, and we'll be back in 1 minute.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and just sit back, relax, and what did I say?
Fourth, you're right. Yeah,
okay.
I'm just showing them on fingers.
I thought you maybe correcting me.
No.
You're always correcting me. Sometimes it's necessary. Let's get right into it. We have a couple of good sponsors, and then we're going to show you some more pictures and some more stories.
We mentioned these guys earlier that they had a certified scale, and they sure do. I-49, exit 23. See, I got it this time. Chevron of Quarters Casino and Travel Plaza. Nice convenience store there. They've got Hunt Brothers Pizza. They've got a Subway inside and a whole bunch of video poker machines for you to try your luck at. They've also got El Pico de Gallo Mexican restaurant and that certified scale that we talked about. So make sure you stop over at Quarters Casino and Travel Plaza just north of Opelousas on exit 23. Tank up there, get you something to eat. It's just a good place to stop and take a rest.
And relax.
That's right.
Stretch your legs, walk in a good, well-lit
perfect place for
facility.
that. But before you go and try your luck at the video poker machines, you might need to go stop by St. Landry Homestead and bring you some money over there so you can try your luck. And go see them over in Opelousas. They have locations in Opelousas, Eunice, or Port Barre. And from what I understand, a new location coming in Port Barre. There is a new location in Eunice already, and they're just making improvements everywhere. The one in Opelousas, they've made a lot of improvements to.
Nice board, an active board they've got some of the second generation coming in to take over. And of course, Kip is a young person,
and
a
Kip
young
has,
attorney
Kip has done wonderful things.
By the way, I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I did.
But he practiced for a while, then he got into representing bank, and then had this opportunity to come and work at the homestead, and I think he's doing a good job, and he's enjoying it.
Well, as we all know, Mr. Harrell did a wonderful job there, and then when he passed on, Kip's come in to take his place, and Kip has taken it to the new level with all of the new modern technology. So go see him over at St. Landry Homestead. You can visit him online at stlandryhomestead.com.
I just want to mention about the OHS graduation. I hadn't been in, I think it was 8 years. I'll give the scholarships. They announced the scholarships as they presented to the young recipients. I give 15 $500 scholarships, and the counselors choose them, not me. You can't do it and live in the community. So they're chosen by and it's basically, it's not on high scholastic averages, because I was no big scholar. I was an average student, and I had gotten 2 scholarships myself, 2 $15 scholarships. But I remember who gave them to me. Mr. Sidney Sylvester from Washington was a state representative. Mrs. Parrott from Eunice was a state representative, and she gave me the other $15 scholarship. But hopefully the youngsters. But what I wanted to really talk about, real brief, because I know we have quite a few pictures we want to show, but the students were so well behaved. Dr. Johnson, oh Lordy, let me cut this.
Full pod.
Yeah, I left the sound on, just give me 1 second. Dr. Johnson, the principal, he's like a maestro, conductor.
I tell you, he is. He keeps a tight ship.
He walked around and he gives them an eye signal and an ear signal, and I was amazed. I enjoyed watching him, and what I enjoyed, they came there to enjoy their graduation night, the event, not to bring some problem that they imagine they have or they do have. They ruin a lot of events like this. You see it on television.
People
you read
in
about
general.
it in the news.
Yep.
These came and were well behaved. I'm proud of all of you. All of you were well behaved, and I wish you all nothing but success. And that goes for all of our graduates that are listening in right now on the program. And Miss Darian.
Yep, sitting here, a fresh graduate herself.
Yep. Friday night.
Yep.
Hadn't really got the...
it's still new.
Still new, yeah. But anyhow, okay, let's move it on.
Yeah, you got a couple of pictures right here.
Yeah,
It looks like you
that
stopped
one
at
picture.
Wanda.
The young teacher had been walking all over,
I'll show you that one again.
She had taken off her shoes. I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
You've got to make yourself. And then this is Wanda's Back in Time on Landry Street, right near the Palace Cafe. But they have a different menu. There's no competition between the two.
No.
This is a delicious salad she makes there, and her iced tea is, and I don't know what the name of it, but that's not ice cream in there.
It's
that's
like a frozen lemonade,
ice,
yeah.
and it's got a taste to it.
It looks like
it's
frozen
flavored.
lemonade.
Yeah. Very novel. Anyhow, go
neat.
by and visit with Wanda if
that's
you have
not
a
Wanda.
chance.
I'm sorry, I thought that was Wanda.
She's full of good stories. And
There's Wanda.
This is a...
Well, this is Wanda. I had pulled up the wrong picture.
Yeah, this is Wanda right there. That's Miss Wanda. And
all right. We'll go back to the...
from Simmsport, Louisiana. She's been in Opelousas, though we claim her
she's
now.
a native now.
Yep.
And I see you met a nice young man here.
Yeah, after the flag rededication of the flagpole, walked over, had never been to Ashley's Furniture, and I was greeted by this young man here, and We had some good vibes, and he's from Port Barre. His name is Ian. Ian.
There you go, Ian Wyatt.
Sales associate. I think he's been on the job 2 weeks. So I had fun trying to give him a few little pointers. And boy, he was like a sponge. He was taking it all in. And I wish him well. And then this is probably, well, that was...
That's Evangeline Downs.
Yeah, Evangeline Downs. Went to have lunch after the dedication and everything, of the rededication of the flagpole, which we'll get. And this is Judy on the left, Cormier and her husband Errol, and then myself with the red, white, and blue, the flag. I'm wearing the flag, a portion, it looks like it. And then Miss Cindy Raymond all the way on the right. That was Memorial Day, Evangeline Downs, and they watched the program. Good morning to you all.
There you go. Here's another shot of Evangeline Downs.
Show me waving at them.
What's that? Oh, going back. I'm trying to watch the other one.
Yep. Anyhow, I'm waving at you all. And then this picture here is after the graduation. I went over to Evangeline Downs, and that's when my horse had run during the time of the graduation. And the breeder of the horse, of Spirit of a Cat, is right in the middle, Mr. Jim Demble from Texas, Bradford, Texas. And on the right, of course, is Bobby Duyon. From, I don't know if they show Maurice or Fieldspan Road, and used to be in Lafayette Parish, and with all that rededication of the line, moving of the line back and forth, he's now a resident of Vermilion Parish. I don't think they've ever they've ever finished that matter yet.
Hadn't moved, but he's lived in 2 parishes.
That's correct, hadn't moved. You're right, that's pretty good. And now we're gonna, this was a, went over to the wake of Mr. Jean Bergeron, and met up with Riley Fontenot, my longtime friend and neighbor, back when we were kids growing up in Opelousas. And he likes to go to Dwyer's because every Wednesday while we're doing the show, they're having a breakfast, français, the table français, the table where you speak French.
Right.
And this is Miss Jessica, but she goes by Jess. Just moved back to Lafayette for the 2nd time. She says she loves it, loves the people, loves the customers. And I like to hear things like that from people waiting on me, because I try to be nice and polite to them.
Absolutely. You got a couple of shots of your yard,
my backyard right here.
Pretty area.
I tell you all, God's been good to me. Look at that. I have my own park in my backyard.
Got a mushroom right there. That's nice. You do have a nice backyard. I have to say that.
Yep.
And then you met some friends here.
And that's the little lady that I told you all about. The young girl. Doesn't she look like she's about 10? What you'd say, Darian?
Lauren? Well, you said what grade she was in?
Third
grade?
Yeah, going to 3rd.
Yeah, so that's probably about 8, maybe 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there.
Somewhere in that age. And the mama, her grandma, Lauren's grandma, is on the left, upper left, with the white cap on, pink blouse, and she is Miss Rhonda Thibodeau. And the mom is Rena Miller, next to me. And then the small child is Lauren Bro, 3rd grader at Park Vista Elementary. Good morning,
you go, Lauren.
All of the staff over there, and Mr. Ulysses Jobad, the principal.
That's right. And you got another group of family here you met?
This was Saturday. This was the function where we were honoring a recent graduate. And I didn't take that picture. That's a shame I didn't show that. But this is Brandy Simeon. Okay, I call it Simeon. And she graduated from the pharmacy college at Xavier University in New Orleans. How about that? And she's working right now. She's already got her job at the Walgreens in Lafayette. I don't know which one. I'm sure they have more than one.
They have several.
But she gave us a little prescription bottle and pretty good medication in there, and jelly beans. So okay,
nice little
and I enjoyed it. Good luck to you, Miss Brandon. That little boy is hers. And then this is Holy Ghost School, Catholic Church, and that's the old school building that'll be removed, and they're building a new activity center, beautiful new facilities, about $2.5, $3 million. It'll be $3 million before they furnish it and everything else. But very happy group, very satisfied group that this is taking place. I know that some of the former people that were there hate to see that building taken down, but when they see the picture and what the need of be for the future going forward. The other building was about 60 years old. There's a lady that's about 100 years old that was there, and of course she was there when the first building was built, and she was one of them that raised money for it, and she's still there.
Still raising money.
Still raising money today.
Look at that. Now,
Father Jason is a real fine fella, does a great job. Congratulations to you, Father Jason. And everybody that was there. The bishop was there. Just go through these pictures.
Yeah, we've got these for Memorial Day right here.
Memorial Day, this is the rededication of the flagpole that Joe Fred and I had given to the veterans. It was moved when the office was shut down on Cherry Street. We're looking at the names. That's what we're doing right there.
There's the flagpole, and there's the names written down there.
And there's the names of some of the fallen soldiers of the recent wars. And it's donors were Bobby Dupre and Joe Fred Gotchaw. And beautiful event, prayer here. The mayor welcoming us. We listening to the prayer. Our chief of police was there, Don DT.
Now this is the picture I like right here. Look at that.
Link Savoy gave an inspiring talk.
Beautiful picture right there.
Good morning, Miss Maggie. We didn't see you. Got a great voice. Charles Ross, great voice. And look at the leader we have, Miss Pat.
There's Pat right there.
Pat, and Kenneth was in charge of this particular and worked so hard for the community, as well as Pat Mason, and all of her supporters were there.
And there's the flag flying.
Yep.
Bugle.
Taps, yep. And there they are.
Looks like it was a very nice event.
Oh, very nice event. And Hewlin Dupre, one of our council members from the Port Barry area. And my cousin, my first cousin, of course, she has a grandson that got killed in the Iraq War. And this is my cousin, Jack Artigo, on the right, and Harvey Darbone on the left. And my patriotic shirt and cap.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Well, let's grab your book and...
How many other pictures we missed?
No, we got them all.
We got them all.
We got them all.
Great. Oh, we were rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
On May the 20th of 2010, Marla LaFleur Pete died. And on May 16th, 2009, Don Oye died. And on June 28th, 2012, Mr. Wes David died. So we passed this on in remembrance of for their family. And we closed the program by asking you to consider attending the church of your choice this weekend. And I'd like to thank you for your service and your attendance here, Miss Darian. And our prayer for today is, Lord, grant me patience and perseverance. Let my initial enthusiasm not diminish in me, but lead me happily to my end. What a strong sentence. Amen.